What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to TTP Sports, and today I'm going to have two videos for you. But first, let's talk about some Phillies baseball. This weekend, the Phillies had 3 scrimmages, and throughout the week last week, they had a bunch of team scrimmages, exhibitions, and stuff like that, just versing each other. But we actually got to some game action against some other teams during the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, against the Nationals, the Orioles, the Yankees. And we got to see some of the starters go out there. Nola was against the Nationals. Zack Wheeler was against the Baltimore Orioles. And Vinny V against the New York Yankees. We'll get to Vinny V later, but a little impressed during that game. But I'm not going to jump on the hype train immediately. It was an exhibition game, and he looked good. I'll give it to Vinny V. He looked really good. But going back to the Nationals game and also the games before that, just the team scrimmages and all that stuff, it was just nice, honestly, seeing Phillies baseball. And credit, it's a little weird, too, just getting used to the teams playing in the ballparks with no one in the stands and just hearing that generated applause, the generated crowd noise. It's just, at first it was a little weird, but then you started just warming up to it. You just started getting used to it because this is basically going to be the norm for the foreseeable future until we actually get some fans back into the stadiums, but we have no idea when that is going to be. So we're just going to have to accept this, and basically all sports right now, every sport is probably going to be using that generated fan noise. So we're just going to have to see how it goes, but it was just nice seeing some baseball back in action, and it's weird. It's Tuesday right now, and in 2 days, on Thursday, that is when the Major League Baseball season is going to get starting up actually. That's going to be opening day, basically. You get the Yankees and the Nationals, you get the Dodgers and the Giants, and then on the 24th is when the rest of the teams are going to be having their opening days. Same with the Phillies and the Miami Marlins. And it's just nice that we're only 2-3 days away from opening day, basically, and basically we're getting closer and closer to the rest of sports starting as well. You get baseball this weekend. You're going to get the NBA and the NHL at the same time around next week until the beginning of August. It's a really good time to be a sports fan right now, and it's really fun right now. It's also good because we just got the basement done in the house. We got the flat screen hooked up. Sadly, we do not have a couch set up yet, so I'm probably going to be the jerk-off that just stands while watching the sports games, because why not? Because it's an exciting time. It's going to be a fun basically month and a half watching the playoffs, watching the MLB season, watching basketball. It's going to be a fun time. It's going to be a very fun time, but let's get back into the Phillies. So, the scrimmages against each other, they were just nice to watch. Just teams versing each other. Really not much action going on from the games that I saw. There was very little offense, mainly pitching, and then once you got towards the end of the game, it was more the low-depth guys just getting their chance to see what they can do. And then we transitioned into the games against the actual team. So Saturday against the Washington Nationals. So we didn't get to watch it here in Philadelphia because apparently the Nationals weren't giving a home feed to us, because that's how the broadcasts are going to work this season. So since the Phillies are on NBC Sports Philadelphia, Tom McCarthy and the crew right there, they're not going to be traveling with the team for the road games. They're going to be broadcasting every game from Citizens Bank Park. Obviously, the home games, they're going to be broadcasting there. But when they're on the road, they're going to be using the live feed from the ballpark of whatever team they're playing at. So they're going to be at Citizens Bank Park broadcasting basically every game. So apparently there was no coverage to cover the Nationals game at Citizens Bank Park. So we didn't really get to see Didi Gregorius, Bryce Harper hit their bombs until basically last second, because we did find out there was a feed and it was just too last minute to do anything about it. So we had to settle with highlights, and we saw the Didi bomb, we saw the Bryce bomb. The Phillies got the Max Scherzer very early in that game, scoring 7 runs until he eventually settled down in that game. And Aaron Nola on the mound right there, he was very nice, went 4 or 5 innings, did really good actually. And Joe Girardi did confirm that Aaron Nola is going to be the opening day starter, so that's the 3rd season in a row for Aaron Nola being the opening day starter. And I think that's the first time a Phillies pitcher has done that since Roy Halladay. So that's basically showcasing how dreadful this decade was, where we did not have a consistent opening day starter, I guess, or a consistent ace, I guess you can say it right there. If you want to call Aaron Nola an ace or not going to get into that argument right there, but it's nice seeing that Aaron Nola is getting the nod consistently now on opening day. And after he basically missed a little bit of the summer camp for a little bit, just being on that COVID injured list, even though he tested negative, he wasn't there for a little bit, so it's good seeing them confirmed for opening day. So, more of the story with the game against the Baltimore Orioles was more on the Zack Wheeler side because the offense was basically just dreadful that game. They couldn't really get anything going against Baltimore, so mainly the focus is going to be on Zack Wheeler. And it wasn't anything terrible, it wasn't anything great. He was just okay, I guess. There was a little bit of command issue, a little bit of control issue. Some at bats he looked really good, some at bats he looked meh. And he did give up a home run. There was an inning during that game where he only did 1 out, and the inning just ended. That's just the weirdness of these scrimmages and exhibitions. Basically, the rules do not matter, where you can play as many innings as you want or as little innings as you want, and we'll get to the Yankees game because that was just weird. And basically for Zack Wheeler, not going to look too deep into it because it was basically his first start against an actual team basically since the stoppage of spring training. So, not going to look too deep into it. It's just he's getting his rhythm back together, and I'm more confident for him than the rest of the rotation, basically him and Nola. More confident in them than, say, the 3-4-5. And speaking of the 3-4-5, who started against the New York Yankees, Vince Velasquez. Have we seen this Vince Velasquez before? Was I dreaming watching that game last night? Watching Vince Velasquez actually pitching good against the New York Yankees lineup, which is terrifying. Seeing Aaron Judge, DJ LeMahieu, Giancarlo Stanton, he was pitching good. The start of the game for Vinny V was a little terrifying because he did hit DJ LeMahieu, but then he got the bases loaded. He started to settle down by striking out Judge and Stanton, and then just the rest of the game, the rest of his outing, the 4 or 5 innings he did, was really good. It was really, really good. His off-speed stuff specifically was just, like, we haven't seen that by Vince Velasquez, and that was basically the story for him during the break. He was emphasizing getting more off-speed pitches instead of focusing on his fastball that much. Now he's implementing a cutter. He's really getting into that changeup right now and the curveball. He's really focusing more on the off-speed pitches instead of just powering people away with that fastball, which he can still do, by the way, but more of the emphasis is going to be on getting those off-speed pitches consistent. And it looked really good against the Yankees. He was getting strikeouts, and he was making hitters look very off balance. And it was very nice right there. And then once you got into, I think it was the 4th or the 5th inning, where he did get 3 outs, and the umpires and the teams just decided, hey, we'll just put an extra batter out there because why not? Exhibition games rules do not matter. And Aaron Judge just hit a bomb into left field, and that was the day for Vinny V. But besides that, he was very, very good. And hopefully that's some promise going into the regular season, but I'm not going to jump on that hype train just any further, because it's the same old story basically with a lot of these pitchers in this rotation, specifically Nick Pivetta and Vince Velasquez. You basically at this point just have to see it in order to believe it. They have to prove it to us. So, and I doubt anyone is going to help jump on that hype train, but just take regards right there. And for the offense in that game, the Phillies tied the game 2-2, and at first, the Phillies were getting runs there. Didi Gregorius got a two-out double, then JT almost hit a bomb, but he managed to get a double at the warning track to drive Didi in. And then there was a whole situation in the 2nd inning. The Yankees pitcher on the mound was completely terrible. He just looked off the entire time, and he had Nick Williams on first base, tried to pick him off, threw it to the foul territory basically, and Nick Williams managed to get to third base. And then Roman Quinn drove him in with a single. And then he tried to pick Roman Quinn off, and he hit him in the back. So that was basically the day for him. And the very next pitch, he hit Jean Segura in the hand. And that's when Jean Segura left the game. And there was really no news about Jean Segura, whether he was injured or not, because the Yankees didn't have the proper, I guess, machinery to get the x-ray on him at that moment. So basically, I'm assuming we're going to be hearing some news about Jean Segura in the next few days or so, whether he is okay to play. But it's just weird. It's going to be tough for some players who get injured during these exhibition games, because that can honestly be the entire season for you, because it's only 60 games and it's a very, very short season. So even though you do have to take these exhibition games very seriously because you're trying to prove what you can do to make the roster, but then also, it's just, there's that unlucky chance that some players can get injured. And that's just the nature of things. You're just going to have to basically hope you don't get hurt at this point. And that's going to suck for a lot of players who do get hurt. But hopefully Gene Segura is okay by that standpoint. But then, just like going back to the weirdness of this game, for both sides, both teams, there was 10 batters. 2 DHs. Alec Bohm and Scott Kingery were the DHs for the Phillies. And it's just, what? I'm seeing a lineup of 10 batters, 2 DHs, and it's still like getting into my mind processing the DH in the National League, because I'm the type of guy that likes to split between the two leagues, the DH in the American League and the pitcher hitting in the National League, because that just gives a more thinking to the game. It's a more processed thought on what's going to happen. Oh, the pitcher spot's coming up. Is it going to be done for the night? Is he going to continue pitching? Who are we going to bring out the pinch hit for him? And it's the same thing when you go into interleague play and basically the World Series. It brings that thought into the game, and granted, this is a test for this season. Who knows if that's going to be implemented going further on. But right now, I am open to the DH. I'm not going to be that guy that hates on the DH and just hates it. I'm not a fan of it, but I will accept it for this point. But it was just weird. It's still weird in my mind processing that DH in the National League. It's just, I don't know what I think about it at this point, but seeing Scott Kingery and Alec Bohm in the DH spot, that was nice. And there's a whole situation going on right now with Bryce Harper talking about he wants to see Spencer Howard in the rotation because he thinks it'll be a joke at this point. Same thing with Alec Bohm. He wants him to make the roster as well. And as much as I appreciate Bryce Harper doing that, he's standing up for his roster teammates. He's standing up for the rookies in his organization, the top prospects and all that. But there are moments when you do have to shut up, because that could be a bad sign for what if this certain player doesn't get a contract extension or he doesn't stay with the team, and Bryce Harper didn't speak his opinion on that. Like, is that a problem for the locker room as well? Is that a problem for the clubhouse? Is that a problem with the front office too? Because it's the front office's job to do stuff. Specifically also with the point of him wanting the Phillies to extend JT Realmuto. So the whole thing going on with him wearing the JT Realmuto shirt during batting practices and all that stuff, if, say if another player on the team does that and they don't get extended and Bryce Harper didn't express his opinion about that, is that a bad sign right there for the locker room? So at this point, Bryce, I love what you're doing. I love what you're doing for the leadership part, but there are moments when you do have to stop talking. There are. You can't consistently express these opinions when you're going on Twitch and playing Fortnite at this point. You just can't do it. So that's the whole thing right there. And also the thing with Spencer Howard and Alec Bohm, there's a lot of people that do want them to make the opening day roster. But I think if the Phillies put them on the opening day roster, I think they lose a year of control of both of those players. And if they wait a little bit, they put them down with the AAA, the taxi squad. I think they wait a week or two and then they call them up. They still keep that extra year of control instead of losing it. So it's more beneficial for the Phillies to keep the longer term control of these two top prospects, because you don't want to lose them that early and you don't want to deal with contract negotiations that early with these two guys. So I think the best thing for them is to probably go with the taxi squad, go down. Even though I don't think AAA is playing games at all, it's just don't put them on the opening day roster right now, so you don't lose that extra year of control with these two players. So that's basically it for this video right here. So I want to hear your thoughts on the Phillies' 3 games this weekend against the Nats, the O's, and the Yankees. What do you think about Aaron Nola being the opening day starter? What do you think about Vinny V pitching against the New York Yankees, on how good he did? What are your thoughts on Zack Wheeler? And what are your thoughts on the DH right now? What are your thoughts on that 10-batter lineup? So don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to leave a comment. Don't forget to drop a like, and I will see you in the next video. We are getting baseball back this weekend, everyone. Just process that. So I'll see you later, everyone.